It's been 2 years in the garage, but Corn Talk is finally back on the road. I'm Dave Long, and this season, we're picking up right where we left off, halfway between nostalgia and the nearest auto shop. Am I right? In this episode, Flying Tires in the Skunkmobile, my friend John Nielsen's back. Matt Burl along for the ride, and we're talking about the cars that shaped us, the ones that broke down, rattled, and somehow just kept going, like little Thomas, the train engine. So grab a coffee, roll down the window, and let's see how far we can get on empty. Okay, let's get to it. Corn Talk, back on the airwaves. What a treat. It's been 2 years since we've recorded an episode. I'm Dave Long alongside John Nielsen.
Hey, Corn Talkers. We're
Nashville.
Back.
We got Minneapolis and Nashville representing tonight. And tonight is Car Talk. We are pulling out all the stops for cars. Now, did you ever listen to those guys, the Car Talk guys? Because
those guys, the NPR segment.
Yeah.
I did. I didn't learn. I mean, I didn't retain anything, but I listened a few times for sure. It's been a long time.
Think about that. That's just like Corn Talk. You don't really
retain anything,
but you just remember that was a good time.
That's right. That's our goal. In fact, if anyone retains any information, they might fact check it. So it's best.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, oh gosh. Well, we are. It is November 10th, 2025, and this is season 2 of Corn Talk. We have officially gone into a different season.
Every decade.
Well, quite honestly, that's almost true. We did season 0. A couple weeks ago I said we're just going to name this. Season 0 was the Blog Talk years 2010 to 2017, and then we season 1'd it, and that was 2017, 18 to 2023. Which was the years of Spreaker and better quality, and now we've really blossomed into a new life, a new Corn Talk life. Season 2.
It's dialed in now. People.
Dialed in. We got video. Riverside.fm. I heard about it a couple times, and I kept thinking it was like a church service, like Riverside Christian.
That's right.
It just has that ring to it.
Non-denominational.
And
this is actually all AI. I mean, that's the main thing about it. We're just going to have ads in here, and Dave is dead, actually.
I am. Yeah, this is just AI recreating my life. And what it said on the thing, it was actually pretty interesting. When I was doing some research, it said that you can have AI have fake callers call in.
That's
there was something weird. I don't know if it was on Riverside.
We're getting one now.
There's one right now. Boy, we could have used this back in the day. Making us seem like we were
legit,
like a legit podcast.
Yeah, we just had to have Keith call in all the time.
Yeah, Keith and pranksters calling in. Ivor. He said he was going to call in tonight, so we'll see.
Wow.
But,
okay.
Anywho, yeah, we are just entering into the Christmas season post Halloween, and John, you had a great Halloween album last year I think it was. For your kids. I wish we had some of those songs in our catalog, but we don't. And do you guys Christmas? Do you get in? Do you decorate right away after Halloween? Do you? What kind of Christmas spirit do you have?
We just took down the Halloween decorations. I was in Minnesota for a weekend. with you, Dave, and I came back, and there was an enormous, terrifying, evil-looking Grim Reaper who was about 8 feet tall in my yard.
Oh,
And I had no part in that, but Tani does not care about it. It freaked out a bunch of the little kids in our neighborhood, and she claimed that one kid went by and was staring at it, and he was on a walk with his mom, and he was clearly terrified, and his mom just said, "Don't worry, just rebuke it in the name of Jesus," which he then did.
oh my gosh.
It did eventually fall over in the wind. You know, like they just say
Jeez.
in church, just be patient. You never know when your prayers will be answered. No, I mean, we don't do Christmas decorations until after Thanksgiving. I'm in the Bible Belt, so we've made the hard transition straight from evil stuff and scary stuff just straight to the Jesus
Straight to
stuff.
Santa and Jesus. Yep.
So there's a lot of Christmas stuff up already down here. You got any of that going on, Dave?
Yeah. Jesus, take the wheel. We are,
That's
we
just a
have
little
di-
free tip
we
that's a life tip for anyone listening.
we've started to get into the Christmas spirit. You know, I now Natalie loves getting right to it right after Halloween. You
No
know, for
Thanksgiving. Just
no, no thanks.
blow
Just
past that.
yeah, and we put up the Christmas lights outside, just
Oh.
on the one of the bushes outside. But I am, you know,
One bush.
one bush, and
You
that's
do one
actually
bush a week.
not a that's it's two bushes. But yeah, they I don't mind doing that right after Halloween because it's still kind of warm.
Well, the weather's better, yes, sure.
So I get it, you know, and it's already November 10th, so part of me is just like, well, why not? Now, Christmas music, I will say Christmas music, you really don't. That to me it seems like after Thanksgiving, it seems to be right.
Show some restraint, people.
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
you can decorate. I'm more open to it now before Thanksgiving, but the music not
Okay.
so much.
Okay. All right.
Anyway. Okay, well, let's get into cars here.
Well, let's talk about it.
Have you had one of those cars, John, that just it becomes part of your has become part of your identity, you know, thinking back on a car that you've owned.
Mm.
What is John Nielsen's car identity?
You know, I've always had Hondas until my current car, which is a Toyota Camry. So not a big shift. And I've almost always had kind of cheap cars, but I had a bunch of Honda Civics. I think I've had at least 3. And then we've had 2 Honda CRVs. We still have one. I'm in my garage right there. Car
Oh
talk
yeah,
appropriate.
gosh, was that
But
planned? I didn't even think that being.
I didn't. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, of course it was. Yes. Incredible planning. I'm the best planner. Just ask my wife. But, you know, my mom texted me like a month. So my first car was a Honda Civic Coupe, 2-door, stick shift. I really wanted a stick shift car. And as they say, like a millennial security system, because no one can drive stick anymore, or what, Gen Z? I don't know. I'm a millennial, but anyways, I had a stick shift Honda Civic that was green. That was my first car, and I loved it. And my dad, we had a different Honda Civic, and he got a different car, so his Honda Civic became the kid car, and he just sold my Honda Civic without really asking me, which was his right because he had paid for nearly all of it. But my mom texted me like 6 months ago, and she was like, and this occurred when I was 17, so 23 years ago that he sold this. And my mom texted me like 6 months ago, Dad's just feeling really bad today that he sold your Honda Civic, the stick shift one. You know, like, I don't think she quite said, like, could you call him? And I did. And I was like,
It's
it's
okay.
okay, Dad.
It's all right.
I've moved on.
It's been a lifetime.
I told him there were things from my childhood that stay with me, but the Honda Civic
That
is not one.
was
That's
not
the
on the.
ongoing effects are minimal at best. So I don't know. I always like Hondas. I never really had American made car. You guys got a bunch of Hondas though, Dave.
Yeah, yeah, well, I'll tell you right now, the Honda, and I know that you've mentioned this about your Honda at one point, but the CRV, it's a 2014, and it rattles every time you turn it on, and it
Yeah, it
just,
tests that oil burning noise thing. Yeah.
my gosh,
Our
and it
last
doesn't
one
end.
did that.
It does not. I literally have tried every trick in the book to try to get rid of it, and I brought it
Take it
into.
in.
Brought it in. That's the actuator, and they, try to fix it, and
You're
then
like, there's no actuator. I'm not an idiot.
yeah, exactly, and spend $1,000 there, and then now I turn it. Once I turn it on,
Yes. Our Burgundy CRV did that. It was 2011 that had the same thing.
and it's kind of it's a little embarrassing when you
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
such a loud noise. But yeah, so and that thing, yeah, like you said, it just guzzles oil. I mean, the thing. She's a guzzler. She's an oil guzzler.
Mm.
But we're pushing 200 on
Are
the
you?
round of the
That's
Honda.
awesome.
Yep. So,
Do you have like a dream car?
well, I mean, the dream car is pretty much
2015 Honda CRV.
pretty
That
much the
doesn't make that noise.
2015, whatever
We got a
the next model
2017
is
behind us.
without
You
the
can have
rattle.
this one when we're
Yeah,
done with it. Yeah.
without the rattle. And no, the Sweet Pea is probably my dream car.
Of course. Got to get into that.
Yeah, the 76 Volkswagen Westphalia. And
So you've achieved all your dreams, is what you're just trying to
yeah,
communicate.
there are no more dreams.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
The rest of us are
There's-
still striving,
yeah.
but
No, she's had a fair share of breakdown. Every trip, I would say 90% of the trips that I've been on in Sweet Pea, there has been a major issue, which is part of the journey.
yeah,
It's all
the
part
long
of
journey.
the long journey. And the most recent one was I was on a trip recently up to Lake Itasca with Ivor, my friend Ivor, and
Of course.
we're going up there, and we stopped at a brewery, kind of a cold, rainy day. Get back out and turn the key, and nothing. And now I've had this issue before with Sweet Pea where you turn and then it just nothing happens.
Mm.
And there's no battery light or anything, and you just wiggle the transmission or the stick, and
Classic.
then it'll fix it. Well, this wasn't happening. So it was about 15 minutes of the battery light was coming on. So it was different than what it normally was. And I told Ivor, I'm like, I haven't had this. I don't know what.
I don't know if we live.
Yeah, we may be stuck in Litchfield this is how Litchfield gets you. You just get stuck
This
there.
is how you become a resident. How'd you get down to? How'd you wind up in Litchfield? Well,
Broke down and never
left.
came out.
Yeah.
And so Ivor he's like, well, I have one of my buddies at Mission Springs, which is how we know each other. We both work there. And he's like, yeah, I know one of the guys, James. He has a couple buses that are this age. I'm going to give him a call and see if he knows what's going on. I'm like, okay, yeah,
All right.
we're really going to figure this
James will know.
James is going to know. So he calls James. James is like, oh, yeah, go check under the bus, and it'll be, it looks like a coffee grinder sort of thing. And it's down behind the rear wheel on the passenger side.
Mm-hmm.
So he was trying to explain it, and finally we were just like, and we were in a puddle.
Perfect.
Ivor was in a puddle, and why are we tried for like 5-10 minutes. I was like, why don't we just FaceTime? So we had essentially a virtual mechanic with us, technology, and
Mhm.
we were moving the phone around down underneath, and luckily there's still just enough daylight to see down there. And he says, "Yeah, why don't you go ahead and grab if you have like a hammer or something to like hit the it was the starter." And he said it's probably something with the starter,
You're gonna wanna
and
just hit it.
just hit it, do a few jumping jacks, uh,
Walk backwards 3 times and
exactly,
say the secret code.
yeah. And so we get I have a little break the glass type instrument in the van just in case,
Yeah,
you know,
guess you
need to.
drive into a lake naturally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we take that, or Ivor grabs it, and James says, "Yeah, Ivor, you hit the starter, and you just kind of tap it as hard as you can, and then Dave, you crank her up." And sure enough, it did the trick.
Wow. Wow.
Whatever it is, there's some components in the starter that get, I don't know, get stuck, or
They need to be woken up.
they need to be woken up. Yeah, they fell asleep. They're dreaming of
Germany.
Germany, simpler days.
Wow.
Yeah, so
And
kind of wild.
that guy's about to call in, actually.
Yeah. So,
Wow, that's amazing.
but yeah, those are, and we've had other things like, I mean, I could go on about little things, but the one we were driving up, it was more of the annoying ones where it's like a buzzing sound.
I was gonna bring up the time where you had the door open
My God.
beeping noise because
It,
some
yeah.
is that what you were about to
Yeah.
bring up?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
drove for like a full day with this like
Oh, it was longer than a day. It was like,
oh
it
no.
was like a week.
Wasn't
And
it wasn't it just a button in the end that wasn't
yes,
being
it
pressed
was
in
a
by a tab
button.
of the
Yeah.
door?
So I don't know. Back in the day, in the 70s, I guess, if your door, for at least for the VW, if your door didn't close all the way, there's a button that presses in to make sure that it's closed. But we had no idea what it was, because then it was like every time there's sometimes where you turn and it would stop. And
Because the
so
part of the door was depressing the
exactly,
button,
yeah.
which
So like the
turns the
weight of the
sound
yeah.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just like one of those where you like move like a little bit to the
And
left
you're
and
like,
it would
"What?"
stop. Like, what the is it? My gosh. And then so finally we stopped at a place in Oregon, and it was trying to remember the name. Arcadia. And was it Arcadia? Eureka? I don't know. It was on the coast. And the guy comes in, and we're like, this buzzing sound is driving us nuts. And it was with my mom, and literally within like 30 seconds, he's like, "Yeah, this is it's this button right here." He's like, "We'll just deactivate it," and blah blah blah. I was about to give him a $5 bill. He's like, put your money away."
You've been through enough. $5 isn't gonna move the needle for me
Yeah.
anyways.
Oh man.
Oh,
But
that's hilarious. But then you had another one. The other one I remember from your journeys was well, I remember there were many because I think I talked to you on the phone during a couple of these.
mhm.
Where you were in Arizona and
Oh
you
god,
tried
no.
it broke down and then you're camping and it was like snowing or something for
Yeah,
2 or 3
that's
days.
That's the snowstorm Flagstaff story. Oh yeah, that was yeah. Essentially, what happened was in Flagstaff, had just brought in Sweet Pea through the high elevations there of like California, Arizona, and was that's kind of where the Continental Divide is. Finally, get
Mm,
up over that. I knew I was very worried about Sweet Pea because she had been through. I mean, that was a lot. It was a hard haul for
big
her.
push. Yeah.
And I just noticed after going from Flagstaff, driving east on on Route 66 there,
Having some audio difficulties, everybody. Dave was telling his Flagstaff story. All right. I'm going to try to I'll just make up Dave's whole Flagstaff story. So then he was down there, and the number of grizzly bears in this place, you would not believe. I mean, they were just ravenous. So Dave's there with Matt Burrell's dad, and Matt Burrell's dad has a hatchet, and he is chopping at these grizzly bears just one after another. He takes off one of these arms of the grizzly bear, and then eventually there's just two. I mean, there's like 6 grizzly bears on Matt Burrell's dad, and that's just the end. And unfortunately, that was, you know, that's the last time we saw Matt Burrell's dad, because he just dragged him out, the grizzly bears, into the woods. And so that one's not that funny.
Can you? Honestly, it's probably better than an
Love
actual story.
Flagstaff that time of year, though, actually. If the bears leave you alone.
The bears, they're...
Matt Burrell, if you're listening, I'm so sorry.
Oh man,
For
I
your
told
loss.
him I told him to call in, and he's we'll see. But no, basically I was on the interstate, and Sweet Pea just started going like 20 miles an hour, and there were people flying by me at like 90, and I thought there was a van that wasn't paying attention, and it looked like they were gonna hit me from behind, and they swerved out of the way in the last second, and they almost flipped. I'm like, okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, I have to get off.
Cause an accident.
Yeah. And so, long story short, it led me to, I was in Holbrook, and I had to go back to Flagstaff because that was the only spot where I found somebody to work on the bus. And I had to leave the bus at the shop and then take my tent from Sweet Pea and then camp. There's a KOA like a mile away. So I walked to the KOA with all my camping stuff. And then literally the next night, there was a snowstorm and I was stuck. And the part that they needed to order got delayed because of the snowstorm. So I was stuck in Flagstaff for almost a week, and then that's when Matt Burrell's dad, Dave Burrell, came, and then the grizzly bears, whatever happened there. But yeah, I've had and then one time where the brakes almost went out when I was in California.
You don't need those.
Don't need those. Actually, it's happened twice.
Perfect.
A Chevy Celebrity that I had in college. I don't know if you remember a Chevy Celebrity, but
no.
Yeah, 1988 Chevy Celebrity. It was my Oma's, and brakes went out in Eau Claire on my way back to go see my mom for Mother's Day, I think one of the last years. But the brakes went out right as I was getting on to Claremont, I remember.
Gosh.
And luckily there was no one coming at the time that I had to kind of swerve to the right when the light was red. Well,
What happened then? Did you just come to a slow halt?
It's slow halt, and it kind of rolled into one of like a side street at that point. So I was on Claremont for a hot minute, and then I was like 20 miles an hour, and then kind of got off and into the I hitting the pedal to the floor, no resistance. It was true Jesus take the wheel energy. Happening.
Energy, main character energy. The secondary characters are the people you ran over along the way.
So flowers, brunch, and a little bit of brake fluid. Classic Mother's Day in the Midwest.
Wow. Jeez.
But that's enough. I want to hear some more car talk from you.
Well, I'm not the best driver. I'm not the best one out there. That's for sure. I mean, I lost my license in high school, right? Like 3 days after I graduated high school, I lost my license. I got this letter in the mail. And so my mom had to drive me, because Wisconsin has a point system. Like every speeding ticket you get or whatever it is, traffic violation has a number of points attached to it based on its severity. And I have kind of a lead foot. And so I had gotten a couple speeding tickets. And then if you're in between 16 and 18 years old, every ticket after your first ticket, at least this was the rule at the time, they double the points. And if you hit 12 points, which are a bad thing, they just automatically take your license away within like a certain number of years, 2 or 3 years or something. Anyways, so I lost my license because I got like 4 tickets. I rolled a stop sign on my way to church. These cops apparently have nothing to do. Gave me a ticket for that, a couple speeding tickets. So, anyways, I lose my license. My mom has to drive me to my jobs all summer. I have 2 jobs. Senior year, it's supposed to be the big fun summer before you go to college, and I can't operate a motor vehicle. So I lose my license for 6 months. I get it back over Christmas break, and I insist on going to like out with my friends on Christmas Eve after we do some family stuff. And I take my dad's car and I immediately hit a deer. Then I've literally had my license back for like 2 or 3 days. Hit a deer. So that car goes into the shop, puts this huge dent in the fender. I don't even know. The deer ran off. Like I have no idea how that thing lived. So one car down. Then, like 3 or 4 days later, I mean, it was less than a week. I go down to Chicago. I lived in Milwaukee, a suburb of Milwaukee. I go down to Chicago to see a Humphreys McGee, this band that I was jam band I was into.
McGee.
Yeah, with my friends. And we're in the Taco Bell drive-through, still in the suburb we lived in, like before we were going down there. And I'm not paying attention. And I just run into this truck and its trailer hitch thing that comes out of the back just punches this huge hole in my bumper. And I was like, okay, I've had my license back for less than 7 days, and I have now taken out 2 of the 3 cars in my family's possession. And so I go to the concert, and I almost never lied to my parents growing up, but I just could not bring myself to be like, I damaged another car last night. So anyways, I lied to my mom and dad, but I think it was first my mom. She relayed the message. And I was like, someone hit the car in Chicago when I was at the concert and they didn't leave a note. And so my mom talks to me and she's like, okay, that's not what happened, right? And I was like, no, it is, Mom. That's what happened. And she asked me like 3 times, like I'm like Peter, after Jesus has been taken away. She's like, you're going to be in more trouble if you're lying. It's okay if there was an X.
Gosh.
And I was like, no, Mom. I stuck to my story. So, anyways, years go forward, years go by, only like 2 or 3. And I'm in a Bible study with Aaron Jones, Campus Crusade for Christ, which Dave will know. And we're all like repenting. We're like digging up stuff from our past and like calling people and making amends, kind of, a 12-step like. And people are, oh, remember when I teased somebody in 2nd grade and this kind of thing. And I get this idea, I'm gonna come clean, man. I'm gonna call my mom and my dad, I guess my mom really, and tell her that was a lie. So I do that. I call her. I'm like, Mom, I just have to tell you something. I lied to you about that time when I punched a hole in the bumper of the family Honda Civic. And I'm expecting to be praised for this, for my amazing honesty. And I am so sorry. And she just responds like, yeah, well, I knew you were lying about that. But because you're in such a honest,
Ah.
repentant mood, I have a number of other questions. And then she literally rattled off like 10 things. Like, was your brother smoking weed when he came back from this party? And did you, or it was something about drinking with my brother.
My
And she's like, did you
gosh.
ever smoke weed in high school? And all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, this has backfired horribly. So,
Well, were you honest? Did you tell the
yeah, I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
honest. But so there were many more other that's not the only time I've lost my license. In fact, that's the milder time. So look out. I may or may not have backed up one of my cars into my other car more than once. And this may or may not have happened in the last 2 years. So, you don't want to
I
be my car.
Yep. Well, boy, We're doing the right episode, I guess, tonight because we're both in good company.
Well, this is why I can't drive nice cars. The car I have is 2012 Camry that my dad just gave to me for free, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the level of car that I deserve. Not what I
I
want, but what I deserve.
I remember I backed I got in a season of like I want to get in really really good shape, and this was like not that I don't want that now, but it was like P90X. Like I'm gonna do P90.
When are we talking here?
This was 2012,
Okay.
and I would be getting up. It was I think I was on like day 6, and
So you were
uh,
basically there.
I was basically there. And I was getting up at like 5 a.m. to go down and
Yeah.
work out, and it was
Wow.
like, and so I woke up, got in the car, backed up, and like just really cranked it in reverse, and just boom, and like my neck goes,
No.
and initially I'm like, I just like totally rammed into someone's car, and I look, and it's a tree. I backed into a tree, and
Where
so
is this?
this was at the Mission Springs parking lot. There's probably still some paint on the tree, but that was literally, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not doing P90X. And I was like,
Not for me.
it was not for me. That was
God
my,
doesn't want me doing
God
this,
doesn't want me to
actually.
do it,
You
really.
had to put
So
this tree here.
then I remember in high school, I was in I think I was driving my mom's car. It was the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder was like an infamous, we had that thing. We loved that thing. But there were issues, and I was leaving the parking lot one day, like wave, kind of like in Dumb and Dumber when he's like, "Goodbye, my love," and he just rams in front of the person in front of him, and the airbag. It was pretty much exactly that without the airbag. I was like, "See you later, Johnny," or whoever it was, and then boom, it right hit the person right in front. It was a minivan, and I remember that they couldn't open the back part of their door, and so everyone was like right there, like saw it all, like
Witnesses.
witnessed it, and then I remember turning to the right to like leave, and hearing this
To
like
leave, to drive
to
off.
drive off, and there's just like this grind, like grinding. So the front part of the right, like the metal bumper part was like got bent in towards the tire. So anytime you turned to the right, it would grind. The tire would grind against that metal part and just make it
My
sound.
gosh.
So that was yeah, that's the sound is ingrained in my
In
head,
your soul.
soul, my blood.
Imagine the insurance premiums
Yeah.
that were paid.
Jeez.
It's it's scary out there, man. Yeah. Down here where I live too, there are no shoulders and all the roads are windy and they're crazy narrow, and it's like you're flirting with death. You get one
Yeah.
text from your uncle and you're like, you
You're
better not look at it because you're gonna. I did try to eat one bite of a granola bar on my way to work one morning and on trash day, and I live on like the neighborhood exits out onto this road, and it's so freaking windy and narrow. And they put these like Civil War looking walls, like 6 inches, like that Robert
oh,
E. Lee
yeah.
built,
Yeah.
from the edge. You're like, why are you doing that? It's like a death wish here. Or the roads just drop off the edge. You're like, you couldn't have put some friggin' dirt here. We had to build the road, you know, 18 inches above the so that if you miss, you fall off. But I did try to eat a bite of a granola bar, and I just took out this trash bin on trash day that some zealot had moved like into the frickin' road. I'm like, they can reach it. You don't have to have it in the lane, but it was like a it was like a bowling ball striking a pin at high speed. I
Yeah.
mean, that I didn't
Garbage
honestly,
can.
I like there was no place to there's no shoulder. There's like no way
Mhm.
for me to check on it. I don't know. It was madness.
Yeah.
I did try to check on it and like see, but I don't know. Looked I can't remember what happened. I don't think I ever found it.
Gosh, yeah. Well, we have Matt Burles on the line. Matt, hey,
He's here to set the record straight.
that's right.
We're talking cars.
We're talking cars.
You know me.
Big car guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pure American muscle.
Are you describing cars or you?
Little column A, little column
Little
B.
both.
Column B. All right. Well, what you're driving? You've got quite the car.
Well, let me tell you, 2007 Honda Accord LA.
Boom. Hey,
Yeah.
I had a Honda Accord that was like very similar vintage. I think it might have been an '08 or something. That's beautiful.
You know, it's served me well. As someone who does minimal maintenance, probably not doing all I should. It's holding up pretty well.
Jeez, yeah, 18 years. Holy moly.
Yeah, well, it was, the year is a little deceptive because it was one of those cars that was, I don't remember when I got 2014 maybe, but it belonged to a grandma who, somebody inherited it, had many miles on it when I got it, but still under 100K. So,
Jeez.
yeah.
Under 100,000 miles?
Yeah, I
My
think we're at
gosh.
You need
we're
to get out
approaching
more,
92.
bro. What?
Yeah.
That's like a
What the heck? That's like
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
He's gonna run for another 20 years.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
I've been thinking for a while that it's not gonna be the mileage that does it in. I think it's
Your sanity.
it's just something else is gonna go before. Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't know.
Holy
Wow.
moly.
That's
Well,
impressive.
Yeah.
what car did you have before this?
I was driving a minivan.
That's
Oh.
right. Yeah, the minivan. Jeez.
Another one that was, maybe not the sexiest of automobiles, but it was a free car, and free's always good.
For free take.
Now, have you had any major issues with this Honda over the years?
Kind of. I had this was actually when this is pretty bizarre. So when I was still teaching, it was after the school day had ended, and this a woman who was like a librarian, she like knocked on my door, and she's like, "Matt, do you drive a gold car?" And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of gold. And I'm like, yeah, and so long story short, this is probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and she was going out to her car, and some guys were just like noodling around my car. There was somebody under my car, and she
What?
busted them in the act, attempting to steal my
Take the
catalytic
catalytic
converter.
Converter.
And so they got they weren't entirely successful, but they still cut into it, and so
My gosh.
I was able to get it patched up, and then within the past year it started acting up again, and I just got that replaced recently. So yeah, no real issues as far as the car itself, but
Yeah.
that was
Just
definitely
thieves.
yeah.
Thieves.
My gosh.
But
That's
yeah, I
brutal.
mean, it was a school parking lot at like 3 p.m, and
That's weird.
maybe that's the best time to commit a crime.
Yay.
It seems so unlikely that
Just put on a construction vest and a helmet and go into those. You can do anything. Get in the Louvre, steal some jewels.
Yeah, break into the Louvre.
I had a sociology professor, and he used to call that the canoe effect, and he called it that because he told us. Now, why you would tell high schoolers this is just insane to me. He's like, yeah, I call it that because when I was in college, me and my buddies really wanted a canoe, but we didn't have any money, so we just went into Gander Mountain or someplace, and we pointed at this canoe, and we were talking about it. We talked to the store guy about it, and then we kind of left and went to a different place, and then different part of the store, and then we just came back, and we just took it down and just walked out really, really confidently with the canoe. I was like, wow, Mr. Morose, what a great story about how to steal. Super.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
also funny
perfect.
because that's not like
Canoe
a
effect.
petty. That's not like petty theft, you know. Like a, a
Not
canoe
cheap.
that's like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, that's why they had to steal it, Matt.
Yeah. Yes.
Canoeflation.
Yeah. Exactly.
Excuse me, Holmes, can you tell me how to get back onto the expressway? Man, oh mama.
Yeah.
They,
I had a car issue that was not directly a car issue, but it's sort of a Matt Burrow car issue where it's something that happened to me where like this is maybe a year ago. I was driving home from playing tennis with my brother and I hit a skunk just in like suburbia, things like running across the and I tried to avoid it, but I got him. I
nice.
nicked
Yeah.
him and it was clearly enough. And I had my window cracked and like almost instantly, even though I just kept going, I must have been going 40 miles an hour or something. And but instantly pretty much the smell, like I could smell it. And I got home and it was like terrible on the outside of the car and the inside just from having hit it. So I like went to Walmart to get some exploding vaporizing scent eliminator and I went to the only car wash that was this was like really late at night by this point. You know, I'm like I got to deal with this right away. So anyways, I do all this stuff. I like clean it out. I leave the windows open for multiple days. Like a week goes by and this super important dude, like literally like the top guy in my huge company in my type of role, comes and has lunch with us in our office in Nashville. His daughter lives in Brentwood and he's like, all right, I'm gonna take an Uber. He doesn't live in Tennessee. He's like visiting his daughter and he comes down to have lunch with us. So, anyways, he's like, I'm gonna take an Uber back to my daughter's house. So he's like saying bye to people. I'm like, oh, Paul, I live in Franklin. It's kind of on the way. I'll take you down. Get a little FaceTime with this guy. So I'm like, so he's packing up and I'm packing my crap up. And I'm like, all right, why don't you meet me in the lobby? I'm just going to use the bathroom quick. And I'm going to the bathroom before I drive this guy home. And I'm like, oh, yeah, my car still smells like skunk. And I've just agreed to drive like the most important dude in my type of role in the entire company. But it was like pretty faint. And I was like, do I tell him that I've hit a skunk? Or do I just hope he doesn't notice it? And my other coworker had told me this story like, oh, I got my car cleaned because I had to drive Paul's. It was this whole thing. So eventually I'm like, F it. I got to just tell him. I was like, dude, I didn't say dude. I hit the skunk like a week ago. And he was like,
Bro.
I don't smell it. It was fine. It was all fine. But I got home and I told my wife this and Tony's like, you drove that super important guy who's like your idol home in the Skunkmobile? Like, how stupid are you that you didn't remember that? So, anyways, skunks. I almost hit another one. Like, I don't know, 3 months ago. They're all them and possums.
It's just, that must be a Tennessee. I haven't seen a skunk in a long time.
And armadillos. We have armadillos here. And they're like,
Lord,
they're morons. They get hit all the time. They come. It's a lot.
Jeez.
You gotta look out, man. You gotta keep your
lot
wits
of
about
animals.
you.
A lot of animals down in Tennessee.
And your catalytic converter. You
know? They watch out.
They'll get under there with those claws.
They're smart. They're pretty smart, man. Well, nothing like car memories you can smell.
That's right.
That's right.
Sweet skunk. Skunky musk.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories about people hitting deer. I've hit a deer once. Driving
Was it
home.
bad?
I was coming home from Anoka on it was Coon Rapids Boulevard, right when Coon Rapids Boulevard and I think East River Road diverge, and there was a deer that popped out, and I hit it probably going about 45 miles an hour, and it really,
that's pretty fast.
Yeah, Yeah, I hit it with, I think it was within just a couple of weeks of me getting round to the Honda. And the front right headlight was out and cracked and all that, and they had to fix that. But yeah, yeah.
You can really get
Nothing.
like Dan Hogan, our buddy, totaled a car hitting a deer, I believe.
Deer.
Do you guys know how to fix anything on your cars?
No.
Speaking of, I mean, can you do any? Oh,
Fix?
Matt.
No, not like fix. No, I couldn't. I felt
But what? What's gonna come after that? I mean, I wouldn't say fix, but
No, but I can look at it. I can see the problem.
I
The
can
reason
whack the starter with a glass breaking
Yeah.
hammer.
The reason I hesitate is because I mean I changed my oil. That's not really fixing it.
Hey,
but it's
That's
something.
better than
I
like
was gonna ask
95%
that.
of people.
Yeah. You
I
change
did-
your own oil. That's good.
I did feel oddly accomplished replacing the battery once, like
Oh.
I've done that a number of times,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not sure I've ever changed the oil. I've
And you
changed the battery.
put a spare on?
Yeah. I've done that.
Yes, I have done a spare. Yep. That takes a little bit of practice.
I had to do that more times than I should, but I just did it for Tani, and it was like she was on an on-ramp, and I thought that was basically the last thing I was ever going to do, because it was, I think it was a wheel that was like, on the side of the road that was facing the road. The cars are like whizzing past you. You're like, I don't know that this is worth it right now.
Yeah, I think the last time I got a flat, it was a situation like that, and I just I was a couple miles away from my destination, and I at that point, I was just whatever. I'd rather pay for another set of 4 tires rather than fix the one there, and
What is the end of that story? You abandoned your car and walked? You just drove on your wheel?
just drove. Like if you could usually save the other 3 tires if you just swap out the one there on the spot.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
if you drive like you damage the other tires, and it's
Yeah. We speaking of tires, a couple of years ago, it was right at the beginning of December, I remember. I had taken Rhonda, the Honda, in to get a checkup, and they rotated the tires and did an oil change and all this stuff. And I was at the time I was delivering packages for UPS or Amazon, and I'm driving for a few, maybe 3 days after I got it tuned up, and I just hear this little grind, like kind of a burring sound, a little like humming, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's like, okay, there's something not right here. And it was getting worse and worse, and I could tell it was front right. And I'm like, okay, I should probably take this back into the dealership and see what's going on. So I get on 694, and I'm driving to the Honda dealership, and I get to the 100 or 694 and 100 diverge, and I'm going like 60 miles an hour. And
I remember when this happened.
Yeah, and it's pretty busy out. Like there's a lot of cars. It's like 4 p.m. And all of a sudden it really it was wavering, but like my car, like it was rattling, and I'm like, okay, I gotta pull over. And as soon as I had the thought of like pulling over, boom, the tire flies off the car, and it was like everything just went in slow motion after this. See the tire. I don't know how it worked, but I remember seeing the tire, like it didn't just go forward. It was like it went back. And then I remember looking to the left, and it was like somebody running by me, except it was the tire. and, and the tire, it was bouncing, and it bounced over the median to oncoming, like traffic going the other way, and it hit it. Luckily it didn't. It just hit like the front right part of one car, and then hit another little part of the like a side door of another car. Luckily it didn't. But I mean, it literally could have killed somebody. And I just, I pulled over, and I'm just like, oh my, like what just happened? And all the traffic stops, and then there was a squad car, maybe, I don't know, a minute behind me, because it felt like as soon as that happened there was a squad car right there. And I just said, yeah, I was like, the wheel just flew off. And so then I called
Since
he's like, luckily, he's like, yeah, I know, I saw the tire over there. Luckily, I think, everybody's okay. It hit a couple of cars. He like must have saw the whole thing. And the Honda, I called the dealership, and then they had somebody come up and take my car back to the dealership. Well, it turns out that the
you gotta
guy
tighten those bolts.
tighten the lug nuts.
It's an important part of the process,
So
everyone.
they were able to go back and see what happened and who it was. I don't know, they had like cameras back there or what, but they were like, yeah, we let that guy go. I mean, I didn't find that out until maybe a month after the fact, because I went back, and
Yeah, wasn't it a whole saga
it
to
was a
get them
whole,
to deal with it?
it was like a month-long deal.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah, and I kind of, and I was like, man, they should give me, free service for the span of the life of that car. No, they did give me a nice deal on some other like stuff, but I did try to milk it as much as I could for like getting all types of service done on my car. But yeah, that was a scary one.
I remember when that was happening. That is insane. A tire.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the person in the oncoming
God.
lane and seeing a tire bounce over a median and then hit your car? Holy crap.
That's right. And
I
so
would
then
freak
I
out.
got to the dealership, and the car that got hit from the other side was
Also there. You're like, hey.
Yeah.
Hey girl. Wow.
Jeez.
You didn't like, did you see the person or anything like that?
You mean the one that?
Yeah, the person who owned the car that got hit by the tire.
Yeah. I saw him.
Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, I saw him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we hung out, grabbed a beer.
And that's how I met my wife.
Oh,
10
man.
years to the day. Yeah. Sometimes love strikes, and sometimes it strikes with a rubber. Wow, that's bonkers.
But boy, yeah, I think we have to, at some point, we're gonna have a car talk episode with a mechanic, and
That doesn't sound very
we're gonna
interesting.
have but they have
How do you tighten the nuts on a wheel? Is that important, Mike?
The Pathfinder, that was the one that I hit, the high school one, and that whole thing. That was also within a matter of a few months. I remember driving like 3 blocks from the house, and the frame went out. It rusted out from underneath, and it didn't hit the ground, but I mean, imagine like the Flintstones car, just like down to the ground. So the frame, yeah, that was the end of the Pathfinder.
Now, Dave, question: you had this? There's this one car I remember when we were kids, and I remember you were kind of embarrassed of it, and you called it the rust bucket. I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it like an Oldsmobile Cutlass or something?
Yeah. Well, there's two cars. Yeah, the Oldsmobile was the one, and that was the one that we were embarrassed about because there was another sound issue in the car where it just ding 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 ding. It was like, again, kind of like a car
What?
and that had its door open all the time and it just was dinging, or like you didn't have your seatbelt on, but it had nothing to do with any of that. And we never ever figured it out. So
So the whole time you drove it, it was doing that.
no, so for a while we had it for a long time, and then all of a sudden it just started, and we asked mechanics, and they had no idea. And so we just got used to it. The sound, like ding 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 ding. But anytime anybody else got in the car, after about
What?
like 2 minutes, they're like, "What the hell is that?" You're like, "What are you talking about?"
Tell me you did say that to make
Yeah.
people feel crazy.
Yeah,
like,
no, we did.
What?
Yeah.
What? You hear
What
something?
sound? What
It
sound?
must just be you.
But yeah, that was the rust bucket. And then gosh, yeah. And
My
then
grandma had a Volvo that I think she got up to, I think it was over 300,000 miles, and she had they gave her some special little plaque or something, and I think she was told that if you got it up to 400,000 miles, they would give you a free new Volvo. And I believe that was her goal. I'd have to ask my mom about this. It was
Yeah.
an awesome station wagon, and you could sit, as kids, you could sit in the back facing backwards in the very
Yeah.
back.
Love
I think
doing
some of the
that.
Teslas have some of that now, but yeah, that was like so fun. We would argue about, there were three of us, so only two could sit in the back. We're always arguing about that. Oh, I want to sit in the back.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Shagan wagon that one of
Dave, this is a family show.
well, Matt, you would know. Kent had this station wagon, one of our friends from high school, and
Can't mood.
he had the back seat that faced the reverse way, and we would always, every once in a while, we do a little puppet show for the cars behind us.
Yeah. Mm. Uh-huh.
Cabbage Patch them.
Do you guys have any association with like fixing your car with like manliness, or like, is that do you have baggage about that, or you're like, no, I get,
Not so much.
yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Did your dads do stuff on their cars? Were they like
Yes,
in the
very
garage
much
fixing
Oh
so.
yeah,
stuff?
your dad for sure, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. He seems like a handy guy from what I hear and know.
Yeah, very much. Pretty close to being
It's before the bear
like an
attack.
amateur mechanic, I would say.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Someone who could probably, yeah, can tinker around enough without the resources of like a body shop,
Yeah,
Mm.
he's pretty good at that. No, my dad was never quite like that I can remember. Was yours, John? Yeah.
No, not, I mean, he would tell me stuff about cars. I'm sure 27% of it was true. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, he knows more about cars than I do, but I don't think he was never really like fixing some significant issue on the cars, nor did he, I don't think he changed our own car's oil that I remember. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So he takes really good care of his cars, but by paying someone to do that. And I don't have a bunch of baggage about that. He's a handy guy, and he wants me to be handy, and I have lots of tools, but I've got a bad attitude every time I do a house project. So I've
Such a
not
tool.
delved into the car world. Yeah, such a tool, man.
Such a tool.
Yeah. I'll say, I don't think I have like a complex about it, but it would be a nice skill to have.
Well,
would be.
I just got my oil changed, and I thought, oh wow, I'll have to see my financial planner before I do this again to make sure that I have sufficient funds. It was like $1 zillion. It's crazy.
Jeez.
I did full
Well,
synthetic, so
Full
Yeah.
synthetic, get the 5,000.
yeah. I tried that, Dave, when I had the CRV with the crazy noise. They're like, try
No.
to do full synthetic. I'm like,
Thing
I
just-
think you're just trying to sell me full synthetic right now. Oh, that'll fix it. Have you tried
I'm
that?
pouring. Oh, I should. I've poured enough synthetic oil in that thing to
Yeah.
to
Turn it into a robot to have it
turn
create
it
AI,
robot. Yeah.
become sentient.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, this has been fun, boys. So a couple other things I wanted to share.
Please.
Little tidbits about cars. Any idea on American cars? The horn is tuned to what key?
I'm gonna guess C.
It's
Is
in the
it-
same
Is it consistent across cars? Like all
American.
American cars?
Most Americans' car horns are tuned
Oh,
to the key of F major.
Huh.
F major, huh?
F
F major. What? How can it be major? Is it a chord? Let's harmonize. Matt has perfect pitch, so
Rep my tuning.
that's it. That's it.
That's the one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then what year was the first person charged with a speeding offense?
1924.
Earlier than that.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. that makes sense.
No, to 1902.
96, but very close. Very close. That's a good guess. I don't know how that's possible,
Wow.
but
I'm
that's
way
what
off.
the internet says. And then we'll do two more here. The very first self-propelled full-sized land vehicle was built in France in what year? What century? Let's say, geez,
Self-propelled
self-propelled.
century. Like the late 1700s or something? Is this?
Yeah, you're pretty close. 69.
What was it? What was the mechanism for propelling it?
It was a steam engine powered
Steam engine.
something
That's good
steam
enough.
related. Yeah, yes. But
Interesting.
and then there was a concept car in 1941 made by Ford, whose body was made partly of soybean derived plastic,
Wow.
which is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, that's the diff.
About 95% of a car's lifetime is spent parked, not driving. Well, yeah, that makes
Yeah, I
sense.
thought this was corn talk, not soybean talk.
That's gonna be a wrap. I think that's a good enough time to bid adieu on tonight's Carn
It's got kind of a pirate flavor to
the
it.
Carn Talk. This is episode 1 of season 2, Carn Talk and or soybean talk, and the goal is every month to get an episode out.
There
I
we
think
go.
it's doable. So if you have any suggestions for topics, let us know. I'm trying to think how right now because it's been such a long time. Just find us online. We're on Facebook.
Drive over
We've
to
got
our
a
houses
Facebook
in your car.
page and all that stuff. But you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and all that good stuff. So
It's just a blessing.
it's a blessing. And remember, keep your oil changed and your corn popped, baby.
Boom. Words to live by.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye. And that's it for Flying Tires and the Skunkmobile. Big thanks to John and Matt for hopping back in after 2 years in the garage. If you like the ride, make sure to follow Corn Talk on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. I'm Dave Long. Thanks for coming along. And remember, it's not the destination, it's the breakdowns along the way. See you next time.